Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave.
And I'm John, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye.
That's right. And to keep us positive, to make sure we avoid lazy negativity at all costs, we decided to make this episode a drinking game. So anytime you hear us say anything negative at all about the movie, about each other, about Keithy George's poundable face, you're going to hear this sound. That sound means that we're taking a drink, and we hope you drink along with us.
So, pour yourselves a glass. We go back to the millennium, say, hello, Chopper. Hello.
Hey, good day, Chopper.
Pre-show shot to grease the pipes. People, we are talking about the year 2000 that was spun by the random year generator. So we're going to talk about the film year 2000, and our featured conversation is going to be about, out of all the movies that came out in 2000, we decided to take a look at Chopper, Andrew Dominik's, I think his first feature, right?
Yes.
2000, filmed in Australia. And thank God we have a resident Aussie who also spent a lot of time in Melbourne, where this takes place. I don't care if I pronounce that wrong, whatever. You know, that's why we have the authenticity here. And this movie's on Peacock
messages on
if you want to watch it right
if you
now.
pronounce that wrong.
Yeah, well, it's a tight 94 minutes. It's on Peacock. It launched the career of Eric Bana, and it basically launched the career of Andrew Dominik.
Well, it launched
as
the international career of Eric Bana. He was well known in Australia.
Okay, see, there you go. Touche.
I was going to ask you. Yeah, I figured.
Dave, Glenn's going to be happy that you're correcting me.
I know, right? Yeah.
Our friend came at me for pronouncing names wrong and said I didn't know who Wim Wenders is. I'm sorry, I didn't grow up in the 80s. I think there are a lot of people who don't know who Wim Wenders is. That's just me. I saw the movie. What do you want? Okay, cool. No mini reviews for us today. Why don't we get to the sponsors and, get chatting and drinking before we talk about this movie? John, you want to shout some sponsors out?
Sure. We have a beer sponsor. His name is Carlos Barroso. You can find his handle in the show notes. That's cbarroso.beer. We also have a music artist in residence that goes by the name Dasein, Dasein. You can find their music available on all the usual music platforms, or you can follow our show notes, our link tree, and find all the links there as well. But go, listen, follow, love, subscribe, enjoy. You're welcome. He is currently busy talking to my friend who's doing the final mix for our movie. Brandon and him are chatting. Brandon wrote some additional stuff and gave us some songs that him and his very genius, wonderful songwriting friend that they made in high school that ended up using in the movie we just made. They're fucking great tracks, and Brandon wrote some additional stuff.
That's awesome.
So they're busy right now.
He was also in our show.
Shout out also to my wonderful mother-in-law, who is fighting hard right now with her health and pushing through, persevering.
Hell yeah!
I think she's been having a rough couple days, but she is a regular listener. Linda, cheers!
Oh my God, cheers!
Yeah,
Toast
yes, we're thinking about you.
Oh my God, yes. Linda, please feel free to call the voice memo at any time and leave your review of any of these things. And you can leave your review of John as a reviewer. You can go to
You can review me. You can review a video of. Oh my God! How has nobody called that number?
I know it's amazing. We put a phone number on the internet and nobody called it. That's got to be unheard of. We've broken a record somehow.
We have friends and family members who listen, who like to bust our balls. Why is nobody
and when I say we put a phone number on the internet, we put a phone number on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
The proverbial bathroom stall phone number is out there, folks, and nobody is fucking calling to get some. All right, whatever.
Anything else, Dave? You have anything to gripe about today?
A little bit.
John, anything?
Oh, sweet. Never. I'm fucking.
You can gripe. It doesn't have to be.
Here.
It doesn't have to be funny. You can get some things off your chest. You can just let it rip and go. It's okay.
One day, one beautiful day, I'm gonna fucking go to town, and that'll be the day our show gets canceled. Dave, what are you upset about this week?
All right, so we're gonna set the gripe timer, uninterrupted minute, and see how you go.
So as we said, we put our phone number out on the internet this week, and we invited everyone to watch the film and leave this little mini review on our voicemail. Absolutely no one called, and one of the reasons no one called is for some reason TikTok has. I don't know whether they've shadow banned us or what, but we've gone from over 300 to 400 views of every video to 4. And this has happened before, and this happens to people all the time. And all of a sudden, you just, for some reason, I don't know whether it's some line we crossed, whether it's because we put a fucking phone number in the video or what. But like, nobody saw this fucking video on TikTok. And sure, they're getting banned by the government, but at least have a good fucking service until you get banned, right?
Yeah, they're still there.
I was about to say, they finally found that gripe I did about the Chinese trade tariffs, and they just fucking ripped it away from us, didn't they?
Hey, this is for both of you.
Okay.
Dave, you're 100% right. It's fucked up. I don't get it. And it pisses me off that they change their rules all the time. Because Snapchat all of a sudden I started getting notifications. I was like, I didn't even realize I still had a Snapchat. And it's like, do you know this person in your contacts? You should follow them. They're on Snapchat. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I look and there's like a new guideline for notifications that was mysteriously on. So literally a year of not getting notifications. And then I get them because they created a new notification and they assumed that gave them, the right to say that I would want them, even though I literally have all of them turned off.
That terms of contract thing, terms of service contract thing that pops up and says, "Oh, we've modified it." That you went, "Oh, fuck that," and just click accept. It was in there.
I didn't accept anything. Again, I actually forgot that I had Snapchat. So anyway, I'm with you, Dave. And also, I want to redefine the gripe list so that you get one gripe for that minute. You don't get a scot-free gripe, Dave. You're coming at TikTok, right? That's the come on. You get one buzz. Is what I mean. One buzz.
Single topic. Yeah.
You get everything in that minute gets one collective buzz. All right, I'll gripe and then we'll get into this movie.
All right, let's go.
All right, my gripe is about youth sports. Okay.
Why are you coming at youth sports?
Wait, I lost it. Wait, I thought I wrote it that way. Hold on. Stop the timer. Where's my gripe? I lost it. Ah, fuck.
Please complain about children.
Oh my God. No, because I had quotes in there. I quoted. Shit.
Fucking
Where'd it
TikTok's
go?
deleted your gripe.
Did it go? Oh my God. Did they delete my gripe?
Youth sports.
They knew that I was gonna.
Everybody wins.
They knew that I was gonna gripe about youth sports. Shit. How did they do that to me? All right. Well, I'll guess. Okay, hold on. I can remember our gripes. All right, you ready? Okay, I'm ready. Restart.
You really don't remember what you.
No. Okay. I had a student who's a singer. She's in middle school, and she came in her lacrosse jersey. And I said, "Oh my God, how was your game? Good. Did you win?" And she said, "I don't know." And I said, "What?" And I was like, "What? Did you play against another school?" Yeah. Was it one team against another team, or was it like field day? And she's like, "No, we played against them." And I was like, "So who won?" And she said, "We don't really do that." I said, "You don't do that? What happened?" And she said, "Well, we scored more goals, but nobody won." And I said, "Yes, you did. You won." Do you understand that to get these kids to believe that scoring more goals doesn't mean you won is way more complicated and confusing than just letting people lose and letting them explain that this is a fact of life and moving on with your life?
They're getting them ready for the electoral college. They get them ready for that.
They're getting ready for the electoral college. Dave getting into
I'm
the
not
electoral
going to war
college.
with that generation. You know what I'm saying? I was making a joke that everybody wins, but literally, like it's
She
become
said,
a cliche. It's
guys,
so true.
I said, "Did you win?" And she said, "I don't know." And I said, "How is that possible?" She said, "We scored more goals, but nobody won. And we don't really do that." My mind was so
it's a
blown.
slippery slope from there to a strange game. The only way to win is not to play, and then we're all sitting around watching our videos get 3 hits on fucking TikTok.
I mean, all of these parents are out there like, "God, kids got to get out there and play more." And here we are, they're playing, and we're like, coddling? Yeah. We let people go online and just it's the fucking wild west out there.
I love that you guys have finally aged
we can't let somebody win. That's too dangerous. Winning and losing is dangerous, but here you go. You can have a TikTok account. You're 12. Like, what?
People have been riding this bandwagon since the 2000s, dude. Like, you guys have just aged into it.
People are looking at the image right behind John right now, which is quite violent, and that's totally fine. But winning and losing, way too much for them. Also, as a reminder, we do have a YouTube, people. So
I cannot wait. Smash cut to Jeff 10 years from now. Jeff coaching Little League or soccer or some shit for his kids, and he is getting thrown out of the arena by some fucking ref.
Or when my dad was my coach, and I was like so lazy as a catcher or something that I like threw the ball into the pitcher, didn't even reach the pitcher's mound. And my dad comes out of the dugout and goes, "Are you gonna play now? Do you want to play? Are you ready to play?" in front of all of the crowds and everything? What if I said, no, Dad, we don't really do
Part
that.
of growing up is having your father shame you on the drive home from your little league sports.
Yeah, and then
that is part of fucking growing up, dude.
And the opposite, when you score the winning goal or your team does and you contribute well, it's like, yeah, you really persevered.
Like this is what breeds certain things that are going on today. Like when you don't like win or lose, you grow up not knowing that there's the possibility of failure. And so the first time you fail, you have no coping mechanism for that, and you fucking crash and burn.
Yeah. We put a goal.
Absolutely.
We put a goal. We put
photocopy your ass and stick it all around the office and just walk out.
We put a soccer ball in the back of our own net because they scored and the ref missed it. And so my dad was like, did that ball go in? And the goalie was so scared. He was like, yeah. And my dad was like, we're putting the ball in our own net. You're down 3-1. We're down 2-1. You're down 3-1. Figure out how you're going to win this game. And we came back and won. What if we didn't win? What if we didn't have winners or losers? Then I don't get that.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Fucking hell.
Exactly. Yeah. I could bitch about this all fucking day, dude.
It just doesn't really. They scored more goals, but they didn't win. Okay, we're moving on.
How do you think they think of? How do you think they're interpreting like political elections?
Well, we've seen it
where there is a,
No, there isn't. There's no winner.
Guess so. Yeah. I mean, their generation, the first one that their generation really voted in was 16.
But they're 12. But I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh man. All right. You ready to talk about this uplifting comedy film, Chopper, about a man who brags about... It does have to be... I am excited. Dozens of people.
But it does have to be the best part about getting older is a shamelessness and talking shit about everybody that's younger than you.
Yeah.
Is that just like a self-righteous, an earned self-righteous...
Trust the kids. Yeah, it is.
No, but here's the thing. But in this case, I'm not shaming the kids.
I am. I'm fucking shaming those fucking kids.
We're not the ones who decided whether or not people win.
Do you think it was maybe all these kids that were yelled at and shamed by their dad on the way home from sport, and they're like, I'm going to be better than my parents, and this was the fucking best they could do? Because
I think it's parents.
Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, come on. Where's the rebellion? Where's the opposite side? These kids watch fucking TV and movies, and every fucking thing that was made previous to their birth has somebody winning and losing at a sports game. They watch the Super Bowl. They watch professional sports. Yeah, come on. I'm expecting some of them to step up and be like, of course we fucking won.
Are they going to watch?
We scored more goals.
Are they going to watch the end of Hoosiers and be like, what are they like cheering about? Are they going to watch? They're going to watch the end of Coast Carter and be like, can these kids just grow up? Like, what the?
Dude, speaking of, my friend sent me
Dodgeball with the original ending.
Great speech. He sent me that great speech by Al Pacino on Any Given Sunday, the 6 inches in front of your face speech, his last speech. God damn it, dude. So fucking good.
And Lawrence Taylor, I'm worth $1 million. All right, let's go, people. We have to get into Chopper, which again is on Peacock. If you get inspired to watch this movie after we hype it up, Dave is our resident Aussie, so therefore our resident expert.
No subtitles required.
No
for
subtitles
one of our televisions.
We tried subtitles on this podcast, and it had a fucking field day with me. So yeah, automatic subtitles are never good.
Dude.
But before we get into Chopper, we got to give you the context of the film here. What was going on in the year 2000 in film? Pretty memorable year on the whole.
Year 2000.
Conan O'Brien sketch. Wow, deep cut.
Year 2000.
Deep cut. All right, 2000 people. What was the highest grossing movie? We like to start with the top 10 in the worldwide box office. This is Box Office Mojo that we're going to go with. Double checked by the numbers, but Box Office Mojo is pretty clear. What do you guys think? 2000 highest grossing movie of the year.
Oh, goddamn, Dave.
I'm scared to answer, so I don't get hate mail from Glenn.
Oh, come on. Is it not Mission Impossible 2?
John comes through with the answer. That's right.
It didn't deserve it.
It's time I disappear.
Dave. No.
Isn't that the Metallica one?
Yeah.
The Metallica. Hey, hey, hey.
Is that
here I go now?
Wait, is that during the opening credits after he hangs off that rock?
Yeah.
And he blows up the sunglasses. We talked about this. Who did? Was it John Woo? Who did this?
John Woo, dude. Yeah, John Woo.
We talked about Mission Impossible 2 in our summer blockbuster face-off where we took the
And we
highest
liked it.
rating.
Didn't we
summer
like it
movie
way
of all
more
time.
than we
Two out of
liked
three
it
of us
when
liked
we
it.
were-
2 out of 3 of us liked it. I believe Matt and
God.
Mark are still, or certainly Matt is he justice for Shrek is a hashtag he has because
Oh,
we
yes,
pitted them
yes.
up year by year. So the winner of the 2001 was Shrek. That was the highest grossing summer movie, and we picked Mission Impossible 2. Dave was not happy about it, but oh well, Mission Impossible 2
didn't.
went on.
Oh yeah.
Mission Impossible 2 went on. Don't forget that Alfred. Oh my God, what the fuck's his name? 2-time Academy Award winner, Anthony Hopkins cameo in.
The fuck do you get Anthony Hopkins?
You almost called him Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
Or Alfred.
How much
somebody.
pre-gaming are you doing these days?
My pre-gaming is the MTA.
Oh shit.
Yeah, just rage on the MTA fucking
That's it.
subways.
Yeah. Who needs drugs? Okay, number 2.
Oh,
What do you think?
number 2, X-Men.
No, X-Men did come in at number 9. $296
Oh
million.
wow.
Yeah.
Fuck, really?
Yeah. Mission Impossible 2 made $546.
They had no idea how good it was going to be yet.
Number 2.
Gladiator?
Yes, Gladiator
Yeah.
is number 2 at $465 million. That is a
Gladiator
DreamWorks
cleaned up.
Universal, and of course would go on to win Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, a shit ton of stuff. Castaway comes in at number 3. That's right. Fucking Tom
Wow.
Hanks
Yeah.
and a volleyball.
That's a movie
With a
I've
little
seen
shout
once.
out to Helen Hunt something. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, come on.
What's
It's
that?
good.
What's that? I saw a video of somebody's cat watching Castaway and was really into it. Very much into it. Guys, this is going to be fucking crazy. Dave, you could figure out how your countrymen figured this out. What Women Want comes in at number 4, Paramount. What Women Want. Isn't that where
That's
Mel
a charming movie, man.
where Mel can read minds? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
He gets struck by lightning at
Sure.
home,
Yeah.
and the next day
He
he
can
wakes up
hear
and he
women.
can hear
Yeah.
every thought that women around him are having.
Yeah. I'm sure women are, if anybody could have that power, they probably don't want it to be Mel Gibson, but number
Mel
5.
Gibson
Sure.
can figure out what women want. He just can't figure out what Hollywood wants.
Oh.
Oh.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll
I
be
don't know.
fine.
I don't know.
I kind of liked Apocalypse Out. I think about that every time there's an eclipse. But anyway, Dinosaur comes in at number 5 somehow. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. You're goddamn right. How the Grinch Stole Christmas comes in at number 6. Jim Carrey, Ron Howard, shout out. Meet the Parents, number 7. Guys, some comedies. The Perfect Storm, not a comedy, comes in at number 8. X-Men 9. And then What
Wow.
Lies Beneath, Kevin Bacon, Come at Us, comes in there at number 10. So many amazing
Kevin
movies
Bacon?
come out.
Was that what? That was Kevin Bacon?
Oh, fuck.
No.
Glenn!
Try it again. Harrison Ford.
Fuck.
Yeah.
How do you guys let me talk on the show?
You know what's cool too? Robert Zemeckis wanted to get funding. Tom Hanks came to Robert Zemeckis with an idea for Castaway. Zemeckis started working on it. And then to get funding for that risky prestige movie about a man alone on a fucking island with a volleyball, he raised some money and got some clout at DreamWorks by making What Lies Beneath, which made a fuck ton of money, did really, really well, secured enough trust and money for them to go on to make the next one because he had a really great exclusive deal with DreamWorks. So he had to make them some money before he could go out and make the dream project. But isn't that crazy how close together they were? He made that.
Well, in
and then
Castaway,
boom.
they did the split because they needed Tom Hanks to lose all that weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Moving
Pretty
on.
great.
A lot
Pretty
of
great.
other amazing movies that came out this year. I think this is one of those years that I did like the comedy split. So I'm gonna go do the awards thing, and I'll put in the chat some movies that I saw here in case you want to shout any out, so we don't talk for hours about every movie that came out this year. But Oscars,
I mean,
like
the comedies are going to be popular because everyone's like, "Woo, Y2K didn't happen."
Yeah, I actually was wrong. I actually was wrong before. So Soderbergh won for Traffic this year. It was not, of course. Gladiator did not win for this. Crouching Tiger and Soderbergh were also up for director with Ridley. So with Ridley Scott. So you got pretty badass list of directors here in this Best Actor. Russell Crowe won. Tom Hanks was famously not nominated for Castaway. Figure that one out. Julia Roberts was a clean sweep for Aaron Brockovich this year. Supporting actor went to Benicio del Toro for Traffic, which was so great, although he did beat Albert Finney. And then, of course, Joaquin as Commodus. Supporting actress actually went to Marisha Gay Harding for Pollock. But again, Judi Dench, Julie Walters, Frances McDormand, Kate Hudson for Almost Famous. I mean, like, it's a really good acting categories, I'm not saying they've gone downhill, but it's like back in the day, you're like, holy shit, these people, right? And Crouching Tiger actually won a lot of other awards, as did Traffic. Any of those movies you want to shout out? I think ones that stand out for me are American Psycho, Love and Basketball. I love Boondock Saints. And then Dude, Where's My Car? Pretty fun.
I should watch Boondock Saints one time.
Hilarious.
Any of these other ones? I mean, I remember seeing Gone in 60 Seconds at theaters, and that was pretty cool. But any of these other ones you guys want to shout out? Me, Myself, and Irene. The Patriot. Somebody said they wanted us to do The Patriot. Was it? Who was it? Was it your brother? Was it
Certainly
Dasai?
didn't call our fucking phone number and say it.
I think he put it out there last week when we were chatting about it. I'll throw out Iñárritu's first film, Amores Perros. Intense film, intense first feature. No surprise there. Me, Myself, and Irene. Did we already call that out?
Yep.
Yeah.
God damn it, dude. That's so good. Chocolat. I really like that movie.
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of like a sleeper movie, even when I was seeing movies a lot back in the day. And I'll also definitely call out Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And
first film
Alex
to have
Garland,
digital
who
coloring.
made Civil War. Yes, it is. Yeah. Alex Garland, who made Civil War, who we talked about last week with some reviews, and the week before. His first film as a screenwriter, The Beach, came out this year, directed by Danny Boyle, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tilda Swinton. So, isn't that crazy?
For our other millennials, the
24
first
years
Final
ago?
Destination came out, as did the first Scary Movie. So that's pretty fun. Cool. A couple things happened.
Sexy Beast. We'll call that out because Jonathan Glazer, I think that was one of his movies. He won. Did he win best? What did he win for the Oscars this year for? Zone of Interest.
That was.
What did he win for?
Jonathan Glazer. Did he win? Wasn't it documentary?
Writing original screenplay? No. It was Zone of Interest. You know.
Oh my god! It must have been. It must have been screenplay where he had that. Yeah, he had that speech. Yeah.
Yeah, he had that speech. So anyway.
Wait. What the fuck? What do you, in IMDb it says he's nominated.
This is what happens when we don't do a prediction show.
You're damn right. We should know. We should know. Glazer didn't.
Memento. Wait.
Glazer did. He didn't win. Jonathan Glazer didn't win for Zone of Interest. He didn't win.
What did he give a speech for?
I don't know. Maybe he got up there even though he didn't win.
Maybe he Kanye'd someone.
Yeah, he got up for
he
Zone of
won for
Interest
something.
award, and according to his IMDb, they don't give him credit, but they fuck this up all the time. They do stuff like this, and it pisses everybody off. It must be
Chris
foreign language
Nolan's second feature, Memento, came out this year. Again, it's kind of weird, just calling out these people who have been with us for a couple decades now, almost 3 decades, some of them, and they're still really rocking and rolling. A lot of people showed up in the late 90s, early 2000s. Requiem for a Dream. Again, just like Chris Nolan, technically it's his second feature, but really out of the box there. I mean, that's fucking crazy. Snatch.
Oh my god.
Pretty great. What's his name? Who made Snatch? What's his name? God damn it, you guys. Madonna's ex-husband.
Fucking
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. Which one,
Yeah.
Dave?
Sorry.
Not Sean Penn, Dave. It was best internet. But you know what?
Stuff.
IMDb, I even fucking IMDb gripe. They piss me off so much, but it says best international feature film for the Zone of Interest, but they don't give it to Jonathan Glazer on his page. It says he's just nominated. They don't associate that win with him. Those bastards. Fuckers.
Weird.
Okay, a couple things that were happening in the year 2000. Dave. Sony gaming console, the PlayStation 2 was released in Japan. PlayStation 2 went on to become the best-selling gaming console in history, selling over 155 million units worldwide. Part of its success was that it relied on the system's backwards compatibility, allowing users to play games in the console from previous models, which was not something that happened before the year 2000. The first crew to live on the International Space Station arrives in space during November. The mission, called Expedition 1, was the first long-term stay, totaling 136 days. In the United States, Bush versus Gore. Oh, my God.
The Hanging Chad.
The fucking 10,000 votes got thrown out in a Democratic county, and they won Florida by 500 states. The whole thing is horse shit. The state
There's your election fraud. There it is. That's where it was. That's where it started.
Whole county.
Okay.
The state of Vermont passes HB 847, legalizing civil unions for same-sex marriage. 2000. Concorde Air France flight 4590 crashes just after takeoff from Paris.
Oh,
That was no good.
Was that the last one? I think that was the last one.
I mean,
I was gonna say, is that what they cut it off?
I think yeah. The Summer Olympics were held in Sydney, Australia this year.
Yeah, it was.
They should have been in Athens, the year 2000. You would think Athens, but anyway, but they actually didn't begin until September, Dave, because Australia.
They should have tried harder.
They don't have the economy to host another Olympics in fucking Greece, bro.
They were also in. The Olympic Committee doesn't give a shit. They were in fucking Brazil and Russia.
Also, the Australian one was awesome.
Why was it in September?
The Australian one was awesome. That was a good one, which was a really tough follow-up to 96, because that was a great fucking Olympics. Atlanta's 96 was good, but Sydney's 2000 was great.
Yeah, you know what was in September?
Because Olympics?
Because our summer
I think
fucking December, January, February.
The year that he won a lot was 2000. I don't think so, John. I think it was the.
Oh, damn.
And if we actually held the Olympics in summer in Sydney, people would die.
Was he in that one? Jesus. Yeah. But it's not your summer though, right?
It's your winter, right?
What side of the hemisphere are you on, Dave?
Yeah. No. December, January, February is summer. Christmas is summer.
Yeah, but we're not holding Olympics in December.
Did they host it?
They usually do it in Australia.
It's the Summer Olympics. That's why they had them in September.
They hosted it in the
What's winter like in because why didn't they do it in July or August like they usually do? They did in September. Like people have work and school and shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, we're talking about Australia ahead of our movie here. We're almost done with this. Founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates, leaves his position as CEO in 2000, and his net worth really took a tumble. Yeah. The final new Peanuts comic strip was published during February after 50 years. Divers discover ancient parts of Alexandria, the home of Cleopatra and Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony, not Mark Anthony the singer. Sorry, Mark Anthony. In Aden, Yemen, the USS Cole is badly damaged by two
time you were in front of me.
Oh my God, that song. God, it's good. America Online and Time Warner combined. Hillary Clinton is elected to the U.S. Senate, representing New York, a state that I don't think she ever lived in, and control of the Panama Canal was given to Panama.
Yep.
After 75 years of U.S. control, man, we like to have our fingernails, really clutching the sands of a lot of other countries.
Speaking of the Olympics, I think it was, I can't remember which summer it was. It may have been in China. And they had this, they kept cutting away from the sports to this stage they had where people would sing, international entertainers from around the world. And they had this giant thing of stairs, huge thing. It was dangerous. It looked dangerous. And Mark Anthony was singing and he tripped and slid down like half of this fucking thing. I recommend looking it up on YouTube if you have the time. You're welcome.
It's funny. I have a Panama Canal story. I went through the Panama Canal back in 2014. Yeah, we're on a cruise ship. And when you work in broadcast, you get to make a little documentary. So like we climbed off the ship onto a pilot boat at like 5 a.m. with camera gear, and we raced the ship across Panama. But my best memory of it is we just finished filming this segment where the cruise director is talking about how this is the most, advanced technological, like this big technological feat that they've created, these locks and all this sort of stuff. And then the ship pulled up and only one of the fucking doors opened, the other one jammed. And I'm hanging over the corner. I'm like, I'm fucking filming this. This is hilarious. And there was, these big burly guys with sledgehammers came out, popped the panel and started laying into the fucking gears with the sledgehammer. Finally, the gate opened. They were so pissed I was filming.
Wow. Jesus.
You're way ahead of your time filming obstructions online, Dave. It's all right.
Two funny anecdotes in a row.
Are you guys ready?
Moving on. Yeah.
To talk about Chopper.
I am very ready to talk about Chopper.
Let's go.
All right, here we go. So again, Dave, you're a resident expert on all things Australia. I'm going to give everybody. I believe our audience can tell that you spent some time in Australia.
No, I didn't.
Did you? Wait. Important though. Had you heard of Mark Chopper Reade?
Everybody's heard of Chopper Reade.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, no. I mean, everyone down there, like he was a.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Glenn? Oh, Glenn's gonna hate us so much. You think Glenn had heard of Mark Chopper Reade after he got mad at me for not knowing the inventors when I was born after all of his movies were made?
I bet he had. Yeah, I bet he had heard of
Yeah,
him.
probably. I think he had. He's well versed.
You think he crossed borders and oceans? His lore, his story.
Yes. I think.
Okay, this is based on the autobiography. It's based on the book.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he basically from prison wrote his own autobiography, and it became an Australian bestseller.
Even though he could barely spell.
Yeah.
Can't spell.
And then they made this movie, which was a fictionalized account of the book, I guess.
Chopper tells the intense story of Mark Chopper Reade, a legendary criminal who wrote his autobiography while serving a jail sentence in prison. His book, From the Inside, upon which the film is based, was a bestseller. Well, there you go, Dave. You just gave us the IMDb page right there. So let's do it, people. We're talking 94 minutes on Peacock right this very second. Eric Bana's international career was launched. They kept referring to him as comedian Eric Bana, who had his own talk show, and he was a writer.
It's funny you're saying that because I'm literally staring at the IMDb page of the movie and then what launched the sketch show called Eric. 9 episodes of a sketch show starring and about Eric Bana, written by Eric Bana, based off of a movie. His very first thing ever was a movie, 50 minutes long, called Eric. And I guess it was about him.
He was also a regular on Australian comedy show Full Frontal as well.
Can you imagine the audacity to just be like, here's my script. What is it? It's called Jeff. What's it about? It's about me. Give me money for my fucking movie and show.
The audacity. I'm just wondering now about the meeting that he got with some American agent after Chopper, where they were like, "You need to lose 30 pounds because you're going to be hot and serious from now on."
And you got to figure
he has done.
Well, and you got to figure out your American and your English accent.
This movie is what got him the Hulk.
This movie got him everything, and Brad Pitt was obsessed with him. I mean, it's
kind of crazy.
He got Troy and Munich from this movie, essentially. I mean, and of course you said Hulk.
And he did. I watched Black Hawk Down
Nemo
several weeks ago.
Dude, every fucking Australian's in Finding Nemo.
He's not funny in that, but he's got an edge to it. Like you can still see, like, and that's 2001.
So Black Hawk Down was the next thing.
Black Hawk Down was the next like big thing.
Do you count Something in the Air, in which he did 200 episodes?
Yes.
Holy
I would say.
shit.
What is that? Dave, what is Something in the Air, and how did Eric Bana do 200
no
episodes
idea.
of this?
I have no idea what that is.
The story of the small town of Emu Springs and the radio station that helps 25-minute episodes. Wait, it only ran for 2 years and had 200 episodes. This has to be a soap opera.
That was
300 episodes.
It was probably an ABC show.
Is it the Northern Exposure of Australia? Is it like a weird, kind of strange sitcom or something?
It probably was.
Episodes. Jeff, people around him, he was a fucking schmutz. That show ran for 320 episodes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In 2-3 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this was back before they took season breaks. You went for like 8 months of the year on a soapy.
He was on 88 episodes of Full Frontal, and is that a soap? That's not a soap opera.
That's a comedy sketch show. Remember the comedy sketch show that I mentioned before that was called Full Frontal? It's that fucking one.
I'm asking about it, Dave. I heard you fuck.
Gosh, it's crazy, you guys. I watched Munich a few weeks ago. You remember when I mentioned that? And it's remarkable. He's just gotten so... I've always thought Eric Bana was a great actor. I've always enjoyed watching him.
From pandemic onwards, he's pretty much just doing voiceover work.
I'm sure
guys,
fucking money he gets for like 5 days of work.
I think Munich is Spielberg's best movie since the 2000s, with a year that has a 2 at the beginning of it. I think Munich is his best movie. You don't agree? Go ahead and list your favorite Steve since then.
No. I think
it's better than Lincoln. It's better than Bridge of Spies.
For the serious ones, for sure. I think I would also include Catch Me If You Can.
You like his okay.
But
okay.
I love Munich. I've always
Catch Me If You Can's good.
Movie quite
guys,
a bit.
Name this movie. Guys, you know what movie I saw recently? Munich. It's just Eric Bana running around being a badass for 2 hours.
I can't name it, but that's hilarious.
Come on, it's in Knocked Up. Seth Rogen
Oh yeah, another movie I've seen once and wish
it's in one of those movies that date. It's one of those movies where they just like needed you to improv, and so he just was like, I saw Munich. I think he just like actually saw Munich and just like wanted to talk about it. That's it.
But Dave,
Okay.
Dave, I know we're saying so much shit right now, but I think this is important for American audiences. Like, I didn't know that he came from that kind of background, and I was just watching Chopper with just like my fucking jaw on the floor with how loose and flexible Eric Bana was in these incredibly absurd comedic situations where he is the fucking engine in every scene. He sets the tone, and everybody is reacting to him the entire time. So I guess I'll go first. I'll just because I thought this movie was fucking. I'm not surprised that Andrew Dominik made a pretty great movie his first time out. I'm not surprised based on the cast and everything we've been talking about that it ended up being like really compelling just to watch these human beings dealing with each other. I think the only thing that was a little surprising is the thing that's always surprising to me about Andrew Dominik films is that he just doesn't quite play by the rules of typical structure. So there are some times that you feel like you're anticipating, I'm saying this as a positive too, like he broke new ground as he always does, where you're kind of anticipating certain beat shifts or act shifts in the course of the movie, and they either just don't come or they come in a different way than you were expecting them to. But you don't give a shit because every minute that Eric Bana is talking, which is every minute of this movie, you just want him to keep talking. Yeah. It kind of doesn't even matter who he's talking to or what the fucking situation is or why one scene leads to another. You're just kind of like there with him. I'm not even sure if I learned that much about Chopper Reade other than he's violent.
You didn't.
He has a big ego.
I mean, all you learned is that this biography was written. You learned a little bit about the circumstances. You learned how much of a fucking psychopath the guy was, although apparently later on they theorized that he actually suffered from OCD and Asperger's, which kind of makes sense, especially in the way he was played.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
No, it's more like those you saw it happen, and you could see it on his face every time it happened. Those little intrusive thoughts, and he couldn't get off that line of intrusive thought, and it just escalated. And then he realized that it was an intrusive thought, and he's pulled himself back. This is done over and over and over again in the movie. It
really is. That is the movie. It's like 4 or 5 different sequences of that, where you're watching him like. He's reckless. He's loud. He talks all the time. He's clearly egotistical. And it gets out of hand where somebody just pokes him the wrong way and he fucking loses it. And then he talks for a very long time about how he feels guilty for having lost it and accidentally murdered that person.
Sometimes it's even an imagined poke. It wasn't even a real poke.
It's usually in his head. It's usually him just getting in his head.
50-50. Yeah.
There are some that are so let's back up and give. Because like what kind of a risk, again, we'll go to my proverbial whiteboard. We're sitting there designing our movie like I bring up sometimes. That is the scheme of this, right? They're going to show us several sequences of that exact same pattern of behavior. Some of them are funny. Some of them are scary. Some of them are not fucking funny at all with her.
Oh my God,
when he attacks her like that. Awful to watch. And some of them are just, kind of gripping from the crime aspect just because everybody, in some of the circumstances, everybody's trying to kill everybody, and his rage and absurdity just kind of makes him the alpha in those situations, and he just kills first, like Behind Me, which you're looking at right now. So, I mean, I don't know. This is definitely one of those movies, though, that more than anything else, I love Andrew Dominik. I think he's an incredible director. But the best choice he may have made the entire time was casting Eric Bana. I cannot imagine this movie without him in it.
No. Dave, did it make you want to go rewatch Blonde?
No. No, it didn't. And he was such a dick after that came out too. So no.
Oh, come on. I could have seen Ben Mendelsohn in this role, but he doesn't have
That was not me. I didn't do it. I did not do that.
I didn't do it.
I don't want to touch it. Okay.
But Eric Bana has this, which I've always loved about Eric Bana. And again, it's hilarious to me that he's funny, and I'm learning this for the first time.
When you've seen
he's
this movie.
He's a big man. For an actor, for a movie actor. I don't think he's actually like 6'4", 6'5", or anything, but he has a stature on film. And they did a good job casting people who didn't have that around him in this movie. So there's a threatening element to his absurdity that worked so well. So like a little scrappy Joe Pesci type, or even someone like Ben Mendelsohn, who is one of my favorite Australian actors and was working at this time, might not have had that kind of like, if this guy goes into one of his moods, we're all gonna die kind of feeling, you know?
When people started buying him drinks and stuff, did you sit there and be like, maybe you should just hide in a corner and stay out of this?
Well, especially knowing the history like of those two, I was like, fucking hell, like don't buy him.
So you knew the names of the victims, like that is how much you knew.
But wow, yeah, it's. I think a lot of the things I love about it, like if you love true crime, this is both great and terrifying.
Yeah, I hope.
And
so.
like Bana and his performance, really, you can see the exact moment that something has gone off the rails, and they do this really cool thing where like, you know, someone's standing here and he's standing there and you see him react with that look that you become accustomed to. It's like, oh shit, he just got like real or imaginary slighted. This is not going to end well. But then somehow it transfers you into the receiving end of that character. So you become the person that he's about to get pissed off. So you get agitated. And yeah, I felt that on this watch, and it was like, it kind of puts you in the place of like, you're the target for what's about to happen. Until of course it happens to someone else.
How many times have you seen this before?
About 4.
Because I also got the impression that they led with, they knew how entertaining this motherfucker was. Obviously, he's watching a TV show of himself, and he's just, it's so great the way that they're doing that. But also, I feel like they showed it to us in a way that they were aware, like, you as the audience are very happy you're on the other side of the lens, aren't you? Like, you have fun watching him, but you're very happy you're not at that bar. Yeah. You know, because it is actually, I feel like it really, I mean, and the fact that he defended himself successfully in trial multiple times for crimes that not only did he do, but it seemed like he, according to this film, wanted to be caught doing.
Yeah.
It was like Ted Bundy-esque, where it's like, he wanted the trial, he wanted the popularity, he wanted the notoriety, he had the fucking charisma.
Like when he literally confesses and they don't believe him.
And yes, he was just, he said, take it to forensics, this murder. I mean, it's like, it's a 410. He's like, there's a lot of 410s. I mean, mind numbing, his dad being proud of him. I mean, all of it's so funny. I think ultimately, though, the reason that the movie succeeds is that it doesn't make a judgment on it. The only judgment that it makes, that it is very keenly aware of, is the fact that he's entertaining. And they are aware of it, and they're not trying to hide that in the same way that Goodfellas, with Bronson going like, I love being in prison because it allowed me to sharpen my tools. You know, so it had all of those elements of it. But other than the fact that it's like, you can't stop watching, I can't stop watching, we know we can't stop watching.
There's one bit where they take seriously, and that's when he loses it and goes back in for the girl. And that's a very triggering moment because there's like a lot of domestic violence right there. But it's shot in a manner that you don't see the punches connect, but you feel like they're connected. Like it's something they don't show. They let your imagination go the rest of the way, but it looked like it hurt what he was doing. And that's the one time where that movie gets very serious, and maybe you lose a little bit of sympathy for him in that one. As
you should, right? I think that's placed, that moment for me. That moment is placed. Let me make this like harsh judgment. I think a lot of filmmakers nowadays, with just the climate we're in, would put that scene too close to the beginning of the movie because they would want to tell us that this is a bad guy.
Yeah.
But Andrew Dominik puts it in the midpoint basically and makes you think that you're almost starting to have fun watching this loose fucking cannon just rage against Australian criminals in his own weird way. And then he fucking beats the hell out of that woman and feels guilty about it, which is, makes me even fucking more upset. Look what you made me do. Mad, yeah. Look what you made me fucking do. It's just
that's a normal thing, like blaming the woman for what you just did. But I actually wrote a note. I actually wrote a note about that. I was like, 2 things need to stop: fucking domestic violence and carpet in bathrooms.
Carpet in bathrooms is
now,
hilarious.
it's not to do with little domestic violence at all.
No.
Because Australia is actually having protests all over Australia at the moment about violence against women. Because I think they said it was a woman's killed every 3 days so far this year, or every 4 days, or something like that in Australia through domestic violence and things like that. So yeah, fucking settle down. They need to pass some laws to stop that. 100% for that. But also carpet in bathrooms. What the fuck?
It takes an unusually weak man to hurt a woman.
Carpet and
Come
kitchens
at me,
aren't great either.
fucking
Yeah, and I
assholes,
know
yeah.
that they have to ride that weird line of psychopath, sociopath get sort of, we talked about this was Nightcrawler, but he's a psychopath. And the fact he's bipolar, OCD, like obviously we can't diagnose these things, but it kind of seems like even in this movie, it doesn't seem like they want to, but it's kind of like everything's on the table. The fact that he feels regret for these outrages, these manic impulses and outrages that he gets, it makes it worse. I completely agree. Where it is entertaining, and then you realize it's gone too far, as he realizes it's actually paced really well. I don't know how they sat there in the bay, and I'm sure they slaved over. That's not the right word. I'm sure they sweated over like the exact timing of all of those moments. When he stabs that guy, which I know you're rooting against that guy, but oh my god!
Oh, which one? The one at the beginning, or when he gets it back?
No,
right?
Yeah,
when he go
that's your tone setter right there. It's like it starts with a back and forth. I love that line right at the beginning. It's like, what did you ever do that was good? He's like, well, I bashed you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, there's your starter. And then the next day.
No. I was talking about we're talking about two different stabs. I'm talking about not when he first kills Keith George.
Yeah.
When
and diced him.
When Jimmy starts stabbing him.
Yeah. Yep. That scene is like,
what are you doing, Jimmy?
Yeah.
When he's just like,
I get a bit schizo, he says. Yeah, he looks.
My God,
I get a bit
almighty,
schizo.
And then he takes the shirt off, and the makeup effects in that are spectacular.
It was unbelievable. Oh, so was the blood with Keithy George. That was fantastic.
Yeah, they did not hold back. Like, this is gratuitously violent.
I don't know how they did that.
And the way that they died
Andrew
was so
Dominik,
interesting. Everybody,
Andrew Dominik always has at least one, but there's usually one really standout scene where he does something that's almost like I've never seen before, or it's almost like irrational in its expression, or somehow it's artistic and making me feel more for, it's just, there's always one that stands out. And I think it was that stabbing scene this time. I had never seen anything like that before.
The one where he's totally getting stabbed?
Set in realism. Yeah, where he's getting stabbed over and over again. I was like,
he's like, what's gotten into you? What's gotten into you, mate? As his friend is stabbing him.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And they just,
and then he forgives him for it.
Big take. Yeah. It was so well done. And again, just to give it up to those performances, like, Jesus, they must have rehearsed that, just because where Eric Bana was coming from, that thrust off of the first scene with talking shit about Keithy. Obviously, the little prologue scene where he's watching himself and you're kind of like, okay, this guy gets a kick out of himself. Flashback, really intense prison moment, some absurd comedy. No, we got to get this guy. I don't know. He just bothers me. Next time you see him, he just fucking destroys this guy and then starts talking about how he feels bad. I don't know. You just have this wonderful, crazy juxtaposition of this heightened, absurd character. And then this scene hits.
Yep.
And the performance is just, I just couldn't even, I don't even know how I would begin to direct that. It was remarkable. He put a great actor in an incredibly unusual scenario, and that actor played it to the absolute most realistic circumstances he could. I believed that he was in pain, but it told me so much about that character that the physical pain he was in it took second place to how disappointed he was in his friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that just told me so much about Chopper Reade. It was crazy.
Unusual scene is a good way. Unusual. I mean, we like that. Audiences like it, and actors like it too, and directors. You like those scenes where it's like we've seen a million movies, and I've never seen a scene like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always, dude. There's always one in each facilities.
His confidence are Goodfellas and Bronson, but it's like there's no scene like that in any of these movies.
Just to get a little technical, color palettes.
Oh yeah, that green fucking color palette.
The green color palette, the blue, like where you suck the color out of everything, and everything was just like tinted blue. But then in the corridors where the guards are around, it was tinted green. Then we get outside the prison, you've got like full red tints, full green tints. Like there was so many times they messed with the color palette just to either set you off balance or just highlight the scene.
What would you say when he's watching his special with the prison guards, which that ending, guys, oh my god.
I know, I can't wait to talk
they're too kind with them, and they're offering him cigarettes and stuff. But it's so neutral, right? Like what would you even call that, Dave? White? Like what would you call that palette?
No, that is I don't know what you call it.
It was pretty desaturated.
Yeah.
So, it was just a lot of the intense saturation was pulled out of it. It felt
it's like a Locon blue almost.
Yeah, it still had that kind of blue tint to it, but I didn't feel like it was calling attention to itself. It felt very grounded, like in that sense.
I mean, it's not like they pulled it down and kept some of the skin tones. They just sucked the life out of that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Like just the again, you've also got a different colored light coming through the door. So when the door closes, you really get shut into that environment as well. So they were playing with that sort of thing as well.
They should probably put some cameras in prison, huh?
I think they have, man.
Yeah. They have now. Also, did you know that the real character of Chopper in real life went through electroshock therapy when he was younger? So this is not an endorsement of that technique. He was also molested as a child, and his dad hit him. So surprising there. When he went to the Bojangles bar, did you guys think, gotta wanna need to get a have a Bojangles or what?
I did think they were talking about a fast food restaurant initially. I did. I was like, oh, sure, they have it down there.
Oh, you fuckers.
Another scene that I want to give up for the tonal shift, which, I guess who knows what order they film these things in, but it comes a little bit later in the movie. When he goes to visit Jimmy Loflin,
at home.
Apartment,
oh my God, with
family.
the pregnant wife as a junkie, it's like
when she finally walks away and Eric Bana switches his intention, or at least his tactic for why he's there. Man, I was scared.
Like I was scared too. Yeah.
Like it's so disturbing. And yet at that point, I had kind of gotten used to the fact that like, I don't think he's actually going to kill him. But I'm just nervous being around him at this point.
But you're not 100% sure either.
The wrong line, like what happens later, he will. Like, honestly, there's some line that Jimmy could have said where he could have pulled the trigger. And for some reason, do it, shoot me, you cunt, wasn't it.
Yeah.
But there was probably another line that he would have done it. Yeah, not for him. And then when the whole thing where he's like, did you take the drug dealer that you shot to the hospital? And he goes, no, I didn't drive him to the bloody hospital. Do I look like Mother Teresa to you? But he did take him to the hospital. Yes. And then later on, the wrong guy, and it's not his friend Jimmy, but it's like, he's completely unhinged. And the excitement has gone. It's the second act of Boogie Nights. It's all these movies, but it's so unique at the same time where it's like, okay, good feeling gone. That's a Finding Nemo reference to you fuckers. Good feeling gone. I'm tired of being entertained by him. This guy should just be in prison.
Yep.
I want to talk about the ending. Because I guess Andrew Dominik left me wanting.
Before we get to the ending, let's talk about when he goes to the guy's apartment, and he's doing cocaine.
He's giving the dog cocaine?
No, when they're sitting at the bar doing cocaine, and they change the frame rate of the film. As soon as he took that bump,
that's a big Andrew Dominik choice, right? Like he always does.
He does it in Blonde.
Weird,
he does that a lot in Blonde.
With it goes 100 and it goes faster, right? What do you think it does?
I think that went to 15 frames.
I was going to say, and I wonder if they pulled a couple frames out to give it that kind of like almost like talking silent movie feel.
It looked about 15 frames a second.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, which means of course they had to ADR
right? I was going to say, it's just fun. Film fans, when you make a choice like that before you film, you're kind of locked in when you're editing. Like I'm sure they shot it that way.
Unless they shot it in regular speed and then cut it out. I mean, you think that's ridiculous?
Maybe. Well, for film back in the day, that would have been
manually cut them out.
I mean, you can do it. They've done it, but it would have been a hassle. It would have been a little bit different than what we can do now. Yeah. It would have been easier to shoot it that way intentionally.
But then you're stuck with it.
But then you're committed. I bet he planned on doing that.
If you shoot it that way, you can, like, depending on what your frame rate comes out at, you can always go the other way. But if you go less frames, then you're kind of stuck to that.
Right.
But
if you can't,
I feel like that was an easy choice to make. Like you took the cocaine, shit got weird.
Yeah, it was good. It didn't take up too much, but I mean, it's striking. It's just he's so good at just kind of keeping you on your toes with using like stylistic elements that help, just like keep you guessing. Almost like you were saying about the color. Like I don't necessarily think the color. I would need to watch this movie 10 more times if I were to really try to say this, but on a first viewing, this is my first time watching it. It kind of felt like it was just highlighting each scene. It didn't necessarily feel like there were certain themes attached or location things attached to it. I mean, I guess
I noticed certain
looked more
repetitions.
red. The inside looked more blue.
Yeah,
maybe
except the corridors. Except the corridors where the screws were. That was always green. Like it was always a green.
That was always green.
Yeah.
Which is funny though, because when he was meeting with the cops, if it was like that authority, when he was meeting with the cops at that bar, it's pretty red.
Well, the bar was a whole different scenario.
That's what I'm saying. It almost felt like they were associated with locations, not necessarily like character themes or things like that. But anyway, I'm just saying there are all these elements where I feel like sometimes I think Andrew Dominik is really good at just saying, because why not? I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do that one this way and don't overanalyze it. It's going to be cool to watch and then we'll move on. I'm sure it's not that simple, but sometimes it feels that way. And I love it as an audience member. It just keeps you on your toes. It's fresh. It's compelling.
And if you don't like it, hey, Beethoven has his critics too.
Oh, that's great. Name one. Name one.
If you ask me, name three.
Oh my God.
Dude, when they went into Neville's den, it was so funny because it's like the den is done out in like 70s style. And I'm like, but it was like, despite it's the 80s, no one upgrades their decor in Australia ever. My dad really just got rid of the orange fucking benches we had from the 70s, like maybe 5 years ago. And
wow.
But he walked in, there's like tile and brick and everything. And I'm leaning in. I'm like, how the fuck are they getting such clean audio with that many reflective surfaces in this room? Because like
there are a few times where
everything was shiny.
There are a few times where I did wonder how much of this was ADR'd. God, that would have been difficult. There's so much dialogue in every scene.
Yeah.
All right, so the ending.
Talk about the ending, yeah.
You can get to the ending, yeah.
Couple of trivia things afterwards, which is fun, but go ahead.
The ending for me, and Andrew Dominik usually does this, he doesn't ever like cross into that place of sentiment, which is, usually a good thing. And the price you pay for that is that he is typically going to find some way to subvert his endings for you. Like they're almost never like, and then they gently take you down and rest your head on the pillow, metaphorically, and give you a hug. Thank you for watching this movie. When Chopper was left alone, those screws leave, that door closes, and he finally shuts the fuck up.
Yeah.
I was like, I literally leaned forward. I was like, oh my God, for two reasons. One, I thought I had about 15 minutes left in the movie. The movie had just fucking spun along, and I thought we weren't at the end of it yet, which again, that structural thing is really interesting. But second reason was, as soon as I leaned forward, I was ready for him to pull a Tarkovsky and just let me sit there in silence with him for like 10 seconds. So like a long, awkward, oh yeah, he's no one without an audience. Who is this guy without an audience to either kill or entertain
Director's cut or something,
molest or whatever? And as soon as I leaned forward, Andrew Dominik cut to black. I was like, you fucking.
It's funny as well. Did you think about it? Like it comes up with the text at the end about how he died of liver cancer. Who thought he'd go out with liver cancer in 2013?
Yeah, 58.
Yeah. This movie was made in 2000.
Yeah.
So they went back and added that later to the film when he died in 2013.
Oh, just the scroll.
Dave,
that must have been
remember?
Peacock. That must have been Peacock, right? Because it was just
Dave,
the
do you
one
remember if there was any postscript when the movie came out?
No.
It was just cut to black?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that that was the only postscript, so it had to be added. Fun fact, Andrew Dominik's favorite films include Raging Bull, Badlands, Blue Velvet, obviously Barry Lyndon, which is fucking awesome, Apocalypse Now, Marnie, Mulholland Drive, Sunset, and The Tenants, which we watched, 1976. The Tenant.
And
of course he loved The Tenant.
He has a really great interview at Berlinale? I can't remember where he is, where he talks about how Mulholland Drive might be the most important movie of the 21st century, just because it came out right at the beginning and it just sets such a tone.
Yes.
So, which came out after this, folks, if anybody's thinking about that. He made this movie, and then, because I'm not gonna lie, this did make me think, every movie Andrew Dominik has made after this movie is way more experimental. This was not that. I thought it was going to be like off the walls experimental, and he's like reined it back. Yeah. Kind of the opposite. I felt like this movie was more accessible. I really did. There were a few things that were, a little experimental, like the speed up. But what he does with Jesse James, and with shit. What's the Brad Pitt
Killing Them
movie?
Softly.
Killing Them Softly, Blonde, even some episodes of television that he's directed. I mean, he has just really, really gone for it. So anyway, sorry. I just thought it was interesting that he.
Couple
that he
fun
wasn't
facts.
his ex.
Obviously, Brad Pitt loved this movie. He didn't work with him again for 12 years. Andrew Dominik's next feature was Jesse James, which was 7 years later, shot by our boy Roger Deakins, who we have in our Mount Rushmore of people we talk about on the show. He did a couple music videos too. I don't know how money
might
works.
be like-
I don't know how you can just wait 7 years to like make your feature. Like I figured you have to make some money, but what were you gonna say, Jen?
I was just gonna say Jesse James might be like, that's top 3 Roger Deakins for me.
Just the look
I'm
and the
just
shot
like,
of
But
it.
imagine
Yeah, just the way-
second film out the gate, and it's like,
Second
oh yeah,
film.
we got Roger Deakins.
Yeah, after
Well, apparently
Weinfeld,
he. I'll go Andrew Dominik for a second. They, on the Deakins podcast, what is the name of this producer? But they worked with him on Jesse James, and they worked with him on a few other things. It's the guy who produced a lot of Spike Lee's movies. He's like a real salt of the earth creative producer, develops with directors from the ground up. You know, it's kind of a rare breed. And he was telling this anecdote of how they brought up at some point Jesse James, and they're talking about Andrew and just how intense it is to work with him, and how great that is, and how proud they were of that movie, and how much it failed monetarily, relatively speaking. And this producer was telling the story. He was like, I had lunch with him a couple weeks ago, actually, and we had a great lunch. And he was telling me about a movie idea he had, and we walked outside. And we were saying goodbye to each other, and Andrew drives away, and he said, "I'm not picking on him, but kind of a not great car." And I had just been having lunch with him, and so I had heard about how much trouble he was having getting funding for his next movie. And I was watching this genius drive away in this kind of not so great car. And I thought to myself, there goes one of the greatest directors on earth right now. And that's kind of the state of the art. This person who can make like these really expressive, interesting films. And this guy can't get fucking arrested in this town. It's
Just
years
like-
and years and years go by between his movies. And
just like
after
Mark
Blonde,
Chopper Reade. After both
come on.
nominated for Oscars. A couple fun facts here, really quick, while we're here. Why not? Eric Bana spent 2 days with Mark Brandon Reade, obviously.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine trying to get production insurance for that? Oh yeah, he's gonna live with Chopper for 2 days.
Well, funny you should say that. First things first, Mark Brandon Reade requested that Eric Bana play him because he was a fan of him on Full Frontal. That's some pressure for Eric Bana. who
Wait,
had to
what's
eat a
Full
lot of
Frontal?
junk food. I don't know.
Oh my
show.
fucking god!
Sorry, dude.
Crikey! Fuck both of you. Fuck both of you. Fuck
Come
both
on,
of you.
kitty.
Andrew Dominik spent 4 days with Chopper while he was adapting his book into a screenplay, and while they were hanging out and while they were writing, Dominik finally said, "You know what? I'll let you look at the script. Do you want to look at the script?" And he declined the offer to read the script, remarking, apart from the fact that he's half illiterate, as he says, "Anything I say would be fiddling. I just want to know what you think of me," which is an exact line that was then put into this movie.
Yes,
But he really did say, and this also is another thing he said. He said, "I just want to know what you think of me." Meaning, just show me what you got. I want to know what you think of me. But he says it in a way where he doesn't care. But Andrew Dominik believed, oh my god, he actually
and
really
if I don't
cares.
like it, I'll come around your house and fucking bang.
Right, which really, and so the whole idea of like, is this the truth? And it's like, well, you can fiddle with the truth a little bit. That whole idea, like all of it, kind of came from this interaction, but it really like circled that one little tiny scene that he had with him. Also, the Australian accent's really hard for people. So Roger Ebert tried to tell people that it's no toned down mid-Pacific Crocodile Dundee, but don't worry, anything you don't understand, you'll get the drift. That was Roger Ebert's review for Americans. Also, this movie came out in America in 2001, so it came out months and months, but it was already a huge hit worldwide. So, but by the time these critics were basically telling people, just sit, you'll watch this movie. It's been out, we know it's good.
This was actually the #1 R18 plus film in Australia until Wolf of Wall Street came out.
Isn't that crazy? There's a little bit of trivia for you guys.
I would have guessed this or Romper Stomper.
Romper Stomper didn't get as much. It got as much like actor recognition, but it didn't get as much story recognition, I think. as far as this did. I mean, this had a fucking self-styled celebrity criminal gangster at the center. Romper was Nazis.
Neo-Nazis, to be specific. Yeah.
To be specific.
Russell
Nazis a Nazi.
That's Russell Crowe's a Nazi, but he plays a neo-Nazi.
Okay.
Really
Fellas,
good. This is one of those things that, like, I'm telling you, I think unless you are really scared or do not like violence, I understand that. But if you don't really mind it, or if you like it, guys, do you know what I mean when I say that this is it's kind of a harmless watch? Like, you just sit down and you just kind of watch. Like, it just doesn't pull the strings of structure and implication and inference and leading you to the next thing. You kind of are just like sitting there looking at it, and you're probably going to have a few moments where your eyes go wide and you can't believe what you're seeing, and then it's over. Like, I kind of can't get over how much I felt that.
There was a moment where he was out of prison working for the cops, seeing his old friends, where I was like, wait, what the fuck? How did we get here? How is he out of prison? How is he allowed to run around? And why is his dad proud of him? That's my boy.
We didn't even talk about his dick yet.
Yeah.
That scene. Hilarious. I mean, that was so fucking
I don't know.
funny,
We've all done that in a bar.
Oh my God, dude. That is so funny.
On that scene.
Anyway.
That's the defining
People got to
scene
watch
of
this
the
movie now
to me,
and look at me
actually.
differently.
I really thought he was. I thought he was really being friends with that guy, and then he wanted to murder him really quickly. Like how quickly that turned. He's with the prostitute. And he's mad that she talked to him. He's a prostitute. She's a prostitute. It's like
I love that interaction. He's like, "Who are you fucking?" She's like,
Everyone?
Everybody. I'm a prostitute. I work in a brothel."
Who are you kissing?
Yeah.
Like that.
I like that too. That obviously we knew they meant like who you fucking, but like who are you kissing?
Yeah.
Everybody. And she laughs. She's like, I work at a brothel. That's where you met me. It's so funny. It's funny, but it's not because it's anyway. Okay. Go see Chopper if you haven't seen it. If we haven't ruined the movie already.
Peacock.
We haven't.
Poundable face. Sliced and diced him. Okay. We're going to go ahead and spin the wheel right now so you can see what year we're going to be talking about next year. Thanks to Dave here. And then we're going to do what you've been watching, where we give you our recommendations for the week, tell you what you've been watching. We're going to finish up the episode with our selection for our featured conversation next week. Dave, are you ready to spin the wheel?
I'm ready to spin the wheel.
Let's do it. Up. Back to the 1900s. 1950s. 1952.
I know one thing we're not doing, but yeah.
I know what I'm voting for.
I don't know what that is, Dave, but all right. Rashomon was 50. Was Seven Samurai 52? 54. Okay. Let's do it, people. What you been watching? Dave, I'd like to start with you. What have you been watching?
Well, fellas, when I went on vacation a while back, you guys did an episode on Men. And I finally watched it.
Uh-oh.
Are you mad at us?
Are you mad at us?
What the fuck, dude? That escalated exponentially.
Yes, it did.
Crazy, right?
And it was so funny because I was like, all these guys look weird, and I didn't realize until about 3 or 4 hours after I watched the movie, it's all the same guy's face. Like,
yeah,
but like,
isn't that it takes time before you realize that, right?
Yeah.
Dave,
and
how well shot is that? The cinematography in that movie, is remarkable.
Yeah.
And the music,
some post effects as well.
Beautiful, captivating, hypnotic things I've ever seen.
Like all the visual effects in it as well are so subtle. Like they're in a lot of shots, but you don't notice them, and it just contributes to the filmmaking, which I really enjoyed. It's a hard watch, but it's definitely a good watch.
Nice.
And then we sat down. We finished. We were watching the series Monk as a comfort view, and then we sat down and watched the movie. We watched the movie on Peacock. I fucking hated it. Just need to get that out of my system.
They made a movie of it.
Yeah, they made it's Mr. Monk's last case.
So I didn't know that.
Other people might like it, but I didn't like it mainly because it lost all of the tone of the show completely. They kill people in this, and for half almost the whole movie is contemplating suicide and stuff like. It's a real fucking downer. It's like they got new writers and tried to be edgy, and it was just like, no, just like, I don't know what was going on there. I didn't enjoy it at all. I'm hoping when they do the next one, because they're probably gonna, that they turn it around a little bit and get back to what they were doing. No, they're talking about bringing that back.
They almost won an Emmy for it.
Today, I started the Dead Boy Detectives on Netflix, which is Neil Gaiman DC Comics
Say it again. What's it called?
Dead Boy Detectives. It's two
Dead
ghosts
Boy Detectives.
Who help other ghosts, but it's Neil Gaiman, so it's quirky and fucking ridiculous sometimes, but also fun and dramatic.
It kind of sounds like a porn.
It doesn't. I don't know what kind of fucking porn you're watching.
Not that kind, to be fair.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is he dead? I don't know. Let's fuck him. Yeah. Jesus.
Dave had the drink ready to go before I even did it. All right.
Yeah,
I knew I was going down for that. All right, next.
Angela knows Tony Shalhoub from riding in cars with them on the way to Maisel, and they bumped into each other at CVS the other day. He went, "Oh, hi." We talk about that all the time. We're like, "Oh, hi." That's our Tony Shalhoub. John.
I watched the Apple TV Plus series Hijack with Idris Elba.
And?
It's good.
Damn it. Fuck, I'm behind on this shit.
It's worth watching. It's exactly what you think it is, but it's done so well that the twists and turns, it's people stuck on a plane and there's a hijacking and the mystery unfolds. Who's behind it? Who else on the plane is involved? It's that story. It's going to be that story from the jump. It's just really well done. So yeah, if you want to watch 7 or 8 episodes of that kind of thing, it was good. It was very impressive. And I also watched a Ridley Scott Body of Lies.
Oh, I remember that.
I wanted to watch something international. I was trying to find, I just couldn't think of any. I was going through movies and movies and movies, and ended up landing on that one, which is funny because the dude, it's totally random, but the dude who plays Neville with the bum leg,
Neville
who gets
Chamberlain?
shot, he's fucking in Body of Lies. He's got a pretty good
as a kid.
No, he's older. He's Leo's. Not Neville Chamberlain, the kid who gets the man who
Harry Potter.
Shot. No, dude, no. He plays Neville in Chopper. He's the guy with the
Neville
fucking gimp leg that gets shot.
Neville fucking Bartos.
Anyway, I hadn't seen that movie in a long time. Looking back, how would it have been perceived at the time? I remember it wasn't hugely hit. There's a lot of intense discussion and vocabulary used against the Muslim world for that time, right? Post 9/11. The message is very clear at the end. Ridley Scott is not team, fucking hate Muslims, but I'm sure that it got reviewed and people felt at the time, if I remember correctly, that it was very America first, even though the message is clear as day at the end that it's not supposed to be that way. Leo turns against it at the end, and you realize that he embraces the Middle East and walks away from his job in the CIA. But it was
there's a ton of people just stopped the movie about 5 minutes early. No, I'm good with that.
For sure.
Yep.
It has that feeling for sure. I mean, they're pretty shameless with it. It's Ridley Scott. It's still fun to watch. The action's beautiful. I don't know if the story was the most compelling thing I'd ever seen, but I love Leo. Love fucking Russell Crowe. Still fun. How about you, Jeff?
You love fucking right. Hey, Dave, how many actors are credited?
Fucking Russell Crowe.
How many actors are credited in the movie Men?
2.
Man.
3.
6 plus a voiceover actor.
I was going to guess 6.
Well, you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't say it out loud.
Yes, Dave.
Yeah, but you still shout it out. Okay, so we are now talking about me. I finished Tiny Pretty Things. It's on Netflix. It was a dancer show. I had a friend on it. Angela liked it too. We loved it. I love the dancing is good. The production design is good. Too much plot, people. Enough with the plot. Enough with this character does this to this to this to this. If you can put it on Wikipedia, don't put it in your show. That's what I like to say. Come on. I don't want us to be able to see it on a graph. If you can graph your plot, I don't want to see it. But I haven't told Angela this. I should probably tell her I'm going to say this stuff on the podcast here. But it's a good show. There's so much about it that I like. But it's too plotty because then you're sitting there, then they're just trying to throw twists at you. And it turns into Argyle real fast. Sure. It was also my birthday weekend, and I got a niece this weekend for my birthday. So
yeah, happy birthday!
Thank you so much, and kudos.
Are you officially? Yeah, kudos. Mazel tov.
Oh, mazel.
You're officially in your late 30s now, aren't you?
Shut the fuck up. Yeah,
it's all downhill from here, sunshine.
I can't pretend like I'm. I can't pretend like I'm not.
Tell him what it's like
that way. I can't pretend like I'm not. Did I watch anything else? Oh, we rewatched Clue the movie because we saw Clue. There's a show, but
excellent.
Yeah.
I'll also throw out that I've been watching a lot of.
Clue turns up every couple of months in discussions with people.
That's so good.
Yeah,
it's transcendent. It's just like.
And they're gonna redo it for TV and stuff. And I saw the play. You got to redo the killings. I want different killings every time. I want to be surprised. I'm ready to Edwin Drood the shit and have a different ending every time.
Or like that. What's that really great play? Barbershop. It's about a barbershop, and it originated in DC, but it still lives in different big cities throughout the world. And it's a killer. It's a whodunit. It takes place in a barbershop, and there's a different ending, and the audience votes on it.
It's not Drood?
God damn, what's it called? No, I can't. Shears, I think maybe it's called. Anyway, I've also been watching quite a bit of Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations.
Fun.
Food travelogue people, but always fun to watch. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back.
And we're gonna tell you what we're doing.
And we are back.
We're back.
People,
call the number on your screen if you have seen this movie that we're about to announce for you. We've already done Singing in the Rain. You got to go back in the feed when Amy Jo Jackson was on and we talked about Singing in the Rain, which is a near perfect film. We're not doing that from 1952. We're also thinking about Akiru Kurosawa's film. We're not doing that, even though Dasein, one of our sponsors, said it was his favorite movie. We did a Kurosawa last week. We can't do 2 in 3 weeks. It's not fair to the rest of the film catalog out there. Although, get your Criterion subs up. People, we are talking about a movie you've all heard, and maybe you're like John and I and Dave, who have never seen it, even though we know it, and we know it's going to be pretty good. High Noon!
Yeah, Fred Zinnemann. Let's go.
High Noon.
So like we said, what we want to do is watch the movie, and then once you've watched the movie, call the number and leave a review. If you can't see the number because you're listening to this on the Podbean, then basically just it's in the show notes. Scroll down.
Just call the number and say anything you want about us.
85 minutes.
Go off.
Just fucking go off. We'll play it on the show. We are that easy. All right,
I
people.
certainly am.
We'll see you next week. High Noon.
Peace.